Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Modi hails power of ballot, startup initiatives and bhajan wave among Gen Z in his 130th episode of monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat. With no indication of any breakthrough in 4 years of conflict, 2 days of trilateral talks between Russia, Ukraine and US conclude in Abu Dhabi. US federal immigration agents kill another citizen in Minneapolis, sparking protests, second incident this month. Winter storm brings life to a standstill in US, 17 states under weather emergency, thousands of flights affected. And in cricket, red-hot India sets sights on T20 series triumph against New Zealand in Guwahati. President Draupadi Murmu to address the nation on the eve of the 77th Republic Day. The address will be broadcast from 7 p.m. IST on the entire national network of Akashvani and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. India's invitation to European Council President Antonio Costa and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen for a state visit from January 25th to 27th underscores the government's intent to elevate India-EU relations as a core pillar of its global and European strategy. Antonio Costa was scheduled to land in the national capital on Sunday. The two EU leaders will grace the Republic Day celebrations as the chief guest on January 26th. EU leaders will hold summit talks with Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi on January 27th. At the summit, India and the EU are set to announce the conclusion of the much-awaited free trade agreement. So India and the European Union are close to sealing a historic free trade agreement. The two sides are already leading trading partners and the FTA represents a win-win opportunity for both the sides. Here's more.
We are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals. One that would create a market of 2 billion people, accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, highlighting how the EU and India are on the verge of a historic free trade agreement. India and the European Union are in the final stages of negotiating an FTA that is expected to significantly boost India's exports and diversify its trade amid growing global protectionism. EU is India's largest goods trading partner, accounting for trade worth $136 billion in 2024-25. EU accounts for 17% of India's total exports. Exports to EU are worth $76 billion and imports from EU are worth $60 billion. India-EU FTA provides a win-win opportunity to both sides. India is among the world's fastest growing economies. Its 1.4 billion strong population offers EU a vast and expanding market, increasing exports of capital EU industries like aircraft, automobiles, electrical machinery, beverages and chemicals. India will gain access to a large stable market across 27 EU countries, boosting exports in sectors like pharmaceuticals, engineering goods, automotive components, electronics and others. India is also seeking more access for its professionals and export of IT services. Since FTA negotiations began in 2007, India and the EU are close to sealing the landmark deal. Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India.
India is not only one of the fastest rising economies but also has ascended as trusted symbol of global development, support and stability today. Now, the much-awaited India-EU FTA, being termed as mother of all deals, is likely to be announced any time, an important development from the perspective of economic diplomacy.
Redefining development, India has left an indomitable mark of a confident, strong and self-reliant nation. Today, not only India is a fast-growing economy, but also a symbol of development, cooperation and stability for the world. In fact, India and EU are very close to finalizing the India-European Union Free Trade Agreement, also being termed as mother of all deals. It is expected to be announced during the India-EU summit scheduled in New Delhi on January 27. Apart from this, discussions are underway regarding the trade agreements with Peru and Chile, fast-forwarding India towards the goal of Viksit Bharat. Three important agreements concluded in 2025 were the India-New Zealand FTA, the India-Oman FTA, and the India-UK FTA. India-New Zealand FTA, one of the fastest concluding FTAs, which will provide better market access to India's exports and cess exemptions. Also, this will open doors to the vast markets of Oceania and Pacific Island nations. This will provide an opportunity to India's trained workforce as a major supplier, and in future, it will strengthen cooperation in various fields. Talking about India-Oman CEPA, the deepening economic cooperation between both nations will play an important role in growth and development. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement was signed during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Oman visit. Apart from this, the historic India-UK FTA concluded in July 2025 will also bring in lots of opportunities for Indian exporters, states and MSMEs. The FTA has turned a new page of economic cooperation between both nations. During last few years under the leadership of PM Modi, India has signed various major agreements which are proving beneficial to farmers, traders and exporters. India-EFTA Trade Economic Partnership Agreement with Switzerland, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein, 2024. India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, 2022. India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, 2022. India-Mauritius Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, 2021. The growing number of agreements highlights India's far-sighted trade policy, which is based on diversification, flexibility, and mutually beneficial development. Along with the economy of the nation, these agreements will also increase the employment opportunities. India's progress strides towards becoming world's third largest economy, growing GDP, and these important trade agreements with various nations are testaments of the fact that India is not just a growing economy, but is a prominent force that's guiding the global economic scenario. Bureau Report, DD India.
And in the 130th episode of his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged young people to lead a stronger, more empowered India. From lauding the power of voting to emerging as world's third largest startup ecosystem, the Prime Minister's message today was loud and clear. India's future is being written by its young citizens. Addressing the first Mann Ki Baat program of 2026, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended advanced Republic Day greetings to the nation and spoke about the significance of this day. The Prime Minister stated that the special occasion of January 26 provides an opportunity for citizens to bow in respect to the makers of our Constitution. He also underscored the significance of January 25th, National Voters' Day, describing it as a crucial day for the country. Proclaiming the voter as the very soul of democracy, he described the milestone of turning 18 not merely as a legal age, but as a significant life achievement. Prime Minister Modi described the entire electoral process as a fundamental pillar in the journey of democracy.
26 जनवरी का ये दिन हमें अपने संविधान निर्माताओं को नमन करने का अवसर देता है। आज 25 जनवरी का दिन भी बहुत अहम है। आज नेशनल वोटर्स डे है, मतदाता दिवस है। मतदाता ही लोकतंत्र की आत्मा होता है। साथियों, आमतौर पर जब कोई 18 साल का हो जाता है, मतदाता बन जाता है, तो उसे जीवन का एक सामान्य पड़ाव समझा जाता है, लेकिन दरअसल ये अवसर किसी भी भारतीय के जीवन का बहुत बड़ा माइलस्टोन होता है। इसलिए बहुत जरूरी है कि हम देश में वोटर बनने का, मतदाता बनने का उत्सव मनाएं। जैसे हम जन्मदिन पर शुभकामनाएं देते हैं और उसे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, ठीक वैसे ही जब भी कोई युवा पहली बार मतदाता बने तो पूरा मोहल्ला, गांव या फिर शहर एकजुट होकर उसका अभिनंदन करें और मिठाइयां बांटी जाए। इससे लोगों में वोटिंग के प्रति जागरूकता बढ़ेगी। इसके साथ ही यह भावना और सशक्त होगी कि एक वोटर होना कितना मायने रखता है। साथियों, देश में जो भी लोग चुनावी प्रक्रिया से जुड़े रहते हैं, जो हमारे लोकतंत्र को जीवंत बनाए रखने के लिए जमीनी स्तर पर काम करते हैं, मैं उन सभी की बहुत सराहना करना चाहूंगा। आज मतदाता दिवस पर मैं अपने युवा साथियों से फिर आग्रह करूंगा कि वे 18 साल का होने पर वोटर के रूप में खुद को जरूर रजिस्टर करें। संविधान ने हर नागरिक से जिस कर्तव्य भावना के पालन की अपेक्षा रखी है, इससे वो अपेक्षा भी पूरी होगी और भारत का लोकतंत्र भी मजबूत होगा।
Prime Minister also spoke about the journey of Startup India, describing it as vital for the future of the nation's younger generation. Hailing the youth as true heroes of the journey, PM praised their courage and dedication. He noted that after 10 years of effort, India has become the world's third largest startup ecosystem, a feat that once seemed nearly impossible to imagine.
प्यारे देशवासियों, इन दिनों मैं सोशल मीडिया पर एक इंटरेस्टिंग ट्रेंड देख रहा हूं। लोग साल 2016 की अपनी यादों को फिर से ताजा कर रहे हैं। उसी भावना के साथ आज मैं भी आपके साथ अपनी एक मेमोरी को शेयर करना चाहता हूं। 10 साल पहले जनवरी 2016 में हमने एक एम्बिशियस जर्नी की शुरुआत की थी। तब हमें इस बात का एहसास था कि भले ही एक छोटा क्यों न हो, लेकिन ये युवा पीढ़ी के लिए, देश के फ्यूचर के लिए काफी अहम है। तब कुछ लोग ये समझ ही नहीं पाए थे कि आखिर है क्या। साथियों, मैं जिस जर्नी की बात कर रहा हूं वह है स्टार्टअप इंडिया की जर्नी। इस अद्भुत जर्नी के हीरो हमारे युवा साथी हैं। अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकलकर उन्होंने जो इनोवेशन किए वो इतिहास में दर्ज हो रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi also highlighted the growing stature of India in the list of global economy. In respect of every sector, Prime Minister emphasized that this year everyone's single mantra should be quality, quality and only quality. Bureau Report, DD India. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his greetings on the occasion of National Voters' Day. PM also penned a letter to My Bharat volunteers on how we all must rejoice when someone around us has enrolled as a voter. Greetings to you, your family and friends on National Voters' Day. I'm happy to connect with you as a fellow citizen who takes great pride in Indian democracy. Often people describe India as the world's largest democracy, and that is correct. At the same time, we also take pride in the fact that India is the mother of democracy, with a history of democratic values that stretches back through the centuries. Democracy, debate and dialogue are deeply embedded in our civilization. This year, we mark 75 years since the beginning of the first general election of India in 1951. This election, which concluded in 1952, illustrated the inherent democratic spirit of the people of India. To be a voter is the greatest privilege and responsibility in a democracy. Voting is a sacred constitutional right and a mark of participation in Bharat's future. The voter is the Bhagya Vidhata of our development journey. That indelible ink on a finger is a badge of honor that ensures our democracy remains vibrant and purposeful. Many youngsters among your friends or relatives may be first-time voters. This is a moment of great significance for them. Our first-time voters should be welcomed into democracy as individuals who hold the power to transform the destiny of our country. Today, I call upon all of you to celebrate when you or a person around you becomes a voter for the first time. At home and in our residential societies, we can celebrate the same by sharing sweets. Our schools and colleges have a vital role to play as nurseries of democratic values. I encourage them to celebrate this milestone of youth becoming first-time voters, perhaps through ceremonies that recognize students reaching voting age and make them feel truly special as they step into this new responsibility. Our school and college campuses can also be hubs for movements that ensure every eligible youth is enrolled as a voter. 25th January, which is National Voters' Day, is an ideal occasion to conduct all the above activities every year. To the world, the scale of our elections is a logistical achievement. To us, in addition to being about logistics, elections are a festival of democracy where we all come together to celebrate the importance of being a voter. The people's commitment to voting is so deep that whether they live high in the Himalayas, in the islands of Andaman and Nicobar, in deserts or in dense forest, they turn up to ensure their voice is heard. This commitment to democratic ideals will motivate us for times to come. I also want to emphasize that the participation of our Nari Shakti, especially young women, is crucial for an inclusive democracy. Their awareness and active involvement have strengthened the foundations of Bharat. Your association with the Mera Yuva Bharat or My Bharat platform reflects a commitment to serve and to lead. You belong to a generation that does not wait for things to happen, but actively participates in making things happen with a can-do spirit. You can spread awareness about the importance of becoming a voter. Let us resolve to make every effort towards strengthening our democracy and creating a developed, inclusive and self-reliant Bharat. Once again, my greetings to you on National Voters' Day. All right, shifting focus now. Ukraine and Russia ended a second day of US brokered talks in Abu Dhabi on Saturday without a deal, but with more talks expected next weekend. Statements after the conclusion of the talks indicate that no agreements had been reached, but Moscow and Kiev both said they were open to further dialogue. A UAE government spokesperson said there was face-to-face engagement between Ukraine and Russia, rare in the almost 4-year-old conflict triggered by a full-scale Russian invasion, and negotiators tackled outstanding elements of Washington's peace framework. Meanwhile, the bombardment of Ukraine's capital Kiev and its second-largest city Kharkiv by hundreds of Russian drones and missiles prompted Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, who was not at the talks, to accuse Putin of acting cynically. After Putin's demand that Ukraine surrender the 20% it still holds out, Donetsk has proven a major stumbling block to any deal. Most countries recognize Donetsk as part of Ukraine. Putin says Donetsk is part of Russia's historical lands. While Volodymyr Zelensky has ruled out giving up territory that Russia has not been able to capture in 4 years of grinding attritional warfare against a much smaller foe, polls show little appetite among Ukrainians for any territorial concessions. The law enforcement and protesters clashed on the streets of Minnesota's Minneapolis on Saturday after a man was shot dead by federal immigration agents during immigration enforcement operation. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, however, said that the Border Patrol agent fired in defense after attempting to disarm the man who was armed with a handgun and 2 magazines.
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots.
And following the unrest, Minneapolis police chief urged citizens to remain peaceful.
We urge everyone to remain peaceful. We recognize that there is a lot of anger and a lot of questions around what has happened, but we need people to remain peaceful. In the area, we have an unlawful assembly at this time. We are asking for people to avoid the area and to leave if you are there.
A shocking incident has been reported from Narsingdi district in Bangladesh, where a 23-year-old Hindu man was brutally killed after being set on fire inside his workplace while he was asleep. The victim, identified as Chanchal Bhomik, was burned alive on Friday in what locals and family members believe was a carefully planned attack, triggering renewed criticism of Bangladesh's law and order situation. Police and eyewitnesses said the CCTV footage has been collected and multiple teams are investigating, but no arrests have been reported so far. The border guard Bangladesh detained 21 Bangladeshi nationals, including women and children, while they were attempting to illegally cross into India through the Maheshpur border in Janaida on Friday. According to a BGB press release, patrol teams from the Bhagadanga, Kumalipara and Koshiapur border outposts carried out coordinated operations in the border areas from morning to afternoon. The teams intercepted the group during their attempted border crossing. BGB said the detained individuals were later handed over to Maheshpur police station for further legal proceedings. Shifting focus, more than 4,000 flights were cancelled in the US on Saturday ahead of a severe winter storm. Major US airlines warned passengers to stay alert for abrupt flight changes and cancellations. Power cut has left more than 160,000 customers without electricity. More than 150 million Americans were under some form of weather emergency notices from the National Weather Service. The US National Weather Service warned of an unusually expansive and long-duration winter storm that will bring widespread heavy ice accumulation in the southeast US and cited. In response to the severe conditions, President Trump has put emergency declarations for 10 states, including Tennessee, Georgia and North Carolina. Authorities urge everyone to prioritize their safety, stay sheltered and warm. Sports updates now will start with cricket. India will face New Zealand in the third T20I at Guwahati today, aiming to seal the 5-match series after taking a 2-0 lead. The hosts dominated the first two matches, winning by 48 runs in Nagpur and chasing 209 with ease in Raipur, thanks to explosive knocks from Ishan, Kishan and Suryakumar Yadav. With confidence high and batting depth on display, India looks set to continue their momentum ahead of T20 World Cup. New Zealand, led by Mitchell Santner, will fight to stay alive in the series and avoid a clean sweep. Let's talk about Khelo India Winter Games in Leh. Today marks the 6th and penultimate day of the first leg of the Games. Medal rounds in short track, long track and relay races will be held in ice skating, while the bronze medal match in men's ice hockey will be played between host Ladakh and ITBP. In the women's ice hockey final, Ladakh will take on ITBP in a repeat of Khelo India Winter Games 2025 title clash. On day 5, seasoned skater from Telangana, Naina Sritaluri, won her first gold medal of the Games in the women's 500-meter short track event. The 17-year-old also claimed her 4th consecutive gold in 500-meter short track category at Khelo India Games. Sachin Singh of Haryana was the star performer for his state. He first won the men's 500-meter short track sprint and then went on to help Haryana clinch the gold medal in 3,000-meter short track relay event. Chandigarh produced the biggest upset of the game so far by defeating host Ladakh in the men's ice hockey semi-finals on Saturday. The Chandigarh men's team stunned one of the tournament favourites, Ladakh, with a thrilling 3-2 victory, leaving spectators in awe. Chandigarh came from a goal down to score 3 unanswered goals through a brace by Gurtej Singh Bhatti and a strike from Unnatveer Singh to script a remarkable win. Earlier in the day, the Chandigarh women's team won the bronze medal in ice hockey after defeating Himachal Pradesh 4-3 in extra time. The 5,000 capacity NDS stadium was packed to the brim as first men's ice hockey semi-final between Army and ITBP got underway. In what was virtually a final before Monday's title clash, Army defeated their arch rivals ITBP 2-0 to book a place in final against Chandigarh. Football now, Real Madrid climbed above Barcelona to provisional top spot in La Liga with a 2-0 win at Villarreal. Kylian Mbappe struck twice in the second half, first finishing from close range after Vinicius Junior's run and later converting a stoppage time penalty. The victory moved Alvaro Arbeloa's side to 51 points to clear of Barcelona, who play Oviedo next. Villarreal fourth on 41 points, missed chances through Gerard Moreno and Papa Gué. Vinicius was a constant threat, narrowly missing in the first half and setting up both goals. Mbappe now has 21 goals in 20 league appearances this season. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.